Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's Headmaster's blog. It's Friday, the 19th of March. It's been another really busy, energetic, vibrant week here at Kingswood House, once again in person, and pleasingly, the rain has generally stayed away, and today, for example, the sun is shining and flooding out across the playground, accompanied by shrieks of laughter, and the children really running around and letting off steam in between lesson times. So you'll forgive me if this blog is interrupted by some of those sounds, but I'm sure, like me, you'll agree that they are most welcome. The week started with Year 9 Options Evening, and I'm really proud of my team of staff who presented with their typical gusto and passion all of the wonderful appetite that their subjects offer up to GCSE and indeed beyond. Really well attended by pupils and parents, and I thought a thoroughly informative evening, and one that should provide a really good platform for discussion as Year 9 pupils now cement their choices for the next 2 years ahead. And looking forward to the summer, of course, we are introducing for the first time the Year 8 options for GCSE a year earlier, and working towards a 3-year programme. So in the first half of the summer term, Year 8 pupils and parents, you will receive a very similar presentation and information to help you make your choices, so that we can crystallise all of those subjects and options blocks and give you even more time to prepare in earnest for the GCSE exams that lie ahead. But of course, academics is just a constituent part of all-round learning. You should know that by now. At Kingswood House, we are much more than about learning in class. It's about learning out of class as well. We have a very strong values base and a wonderful life skills programme. And no better time to celebrate that than during Neurodiversity Week, which is one that we hold very dear here at Kingswood House, where we have a lot of people who learn in an unconventional way. And that is exactly what Neurodiversity Week is designed to propagate, a greater understanding of how those pupils who do learn in a different way can still add value to society, and in terms of diffusing that into a school environment. And if I were to distill the Kingswood House academic ethos, it would be one where we take every single individual and help them to achieve by making them feel valued, understood, interpreted, where we have a multi-sensory approach to learning that helps every single child, boy and girls in the future, to achieve his or her potential in an environment where they can feel rewarded and able to make really good progress in a supported environment. And absolutely, of course, it's going to be important to still have those theoretical subjects and indeed practical subjects that we assess at GCSE. But employers nowadays are looking for much more than that. They are looking, as you may well know yourself, parents, if you work in a corporate environment, they are looking for reliability, you're looking for trust, you're looking for punctuality, you're looking for empathy, you're looking for resilience, you're looking for problem solvers, you're looking for people with an entrepreneurial streak, people who know how to manage a business, who can manage a budget, who can work to deadlines, handle pressure. All of these things are things that can be, to some degree, taught. And at Kingswood House, we have already pioneered a programme of study that equips our students with those skills so that by the time they leave us, they can move forward and be a positive force in society, both in the workplace and at home. We're incredibly proud of that, and I do believe that we are in the vanguard of schools to be so forward-thinking, and long may that continue. This week's mentions in dispatches. Very well done to Johnny Day for trying so hard in all of your lessons this week for Mrs. Lambert, to Zach Borner and Gregory Chung for working together to make an ice cream word search, Jamie Chatfield for mathematics. Well done to Lewis Lockhead for a great effort with your handwriting from Miss Smith, to Harvey Mufti for some great maths work from Miss Forbes, Peter Summers for great enthusiasm, Max Kenner for great rugby in house rugby from Mr. Clark. Apparently you beat 8 defenders and then scored with a diving finish. Well done. And Harvey Mufti is so fast. Mr. Clark said that he could hardly keep up with him when he was refereeing on the field, so do slow down, Harvey. But Harvey also managed a few tries and indeed increased Mr. Clark's fitness level, so well done. You get a house point from me, Harvey. Well done to Sam Atkins and Alex Forbes for great maths work from Mrs. Seaver. Lucas Christie, another great rugby performance in house matches from Mr. Westcott. Madame Swift is very pleased with 5S and 5F for all of your work in French. To Tristan Bush for showing good resilience, one of those skills I've just been talking about. The return to school has not been easy for him and for many others, but he's fought really well to stay on task and to try his hardest at all times. Nobody can ask for more than that, Tristan. Well done to you. Well done to Fazan for settling back into school and working just as hard as he did in lockdown for Mr. Lordy. To James Carr for great work in science, and Charlie Leonard for being a good photographer and capturing that work from Miss Patel. To Lucas Cressy for a confident start back from Madame Taylor. Accommodations awarded to Stuart Coleman, Mikey Fitzgibbon and Lucas Cressy for great presentations in form time. To Ben Hubber for his speed in house rugby, and indeed for playing with great sportsmanship, which is another life skill and one that I'm impressed with. So well done, and thank you to Mr. Hendry for nominating Ben for that. He's not the upper prep head boy for nothing. Archie Spick for being a great role model, helping to keep the classroom from becoming a pond whilst testing floating gardens, says Miss Patel. And Max Horsting for being very, very good in terms of assisting with photography and photographing the floating gardens for her. Into Year 9, Max Garrett has a nomination for showing great integrity and foresight. To Anthony Miernick, Ethan Shee and Theo Venzelar-Pelly for being proactive in catching up on work. To James Giles for excellent participation in French. And well done to 9T, all of whom have listened well and made excellent notes during their history work on how to improve in their assessments. And as I said in Assembly, boys, the exams are one thing, but how to improve your marks, it's all about the corrections and making sure that you learn from your mistakes. So well done for that. 10H, Mrs. Hornstetter is delighted with 10H for their mature discussion around the events of Sarah Everard in the news. She was really impressed by how insightful and how empathetic you were. Boys, well done for being so grown up. Very pleased to hear that. Well done to Ryan Luneman for showing really good growth mindset in science. Eddie Fisher for resilience and a great approach to learning from Miss Patel. And I've missed out a whole lot here. I've got the wrong page, so I'm going to have to go back on myself. Will Baker, well done to you. This is back into Year 6. Despite being anxious, he's doing his best to build up confidence. Well done to you. And you've got another nomination, Will, for your work in maths. Dylan Newman for being very responsible for Mrs. Lindley. Kieran Schmidt, Adam Grattan and Alex Wang. In Book Week, they created and illustrated short stories for Year 1 and Year 2 boys, and I had the pleasure of seeing those. They were fabulous. Well done, boys. Jack Saville, great commendation in English. Mrs. Wraith would like to say well done to all of Success for their skateboard designs. Jack Saville, a nomination for being player of the match in house rugby. He worked hard and scored a number of tries. He was observed doing this by Mr. Lordy and Mr. Barrett, who both spoke highly of you. Well done to Alex Hayworth for being organised and efficient. Freddie Taylor, great laptop work. And Jack Guiney for being attentive and willing at all times. Well done to Arlo. You've got 2 nominations. Firstly from Mr. Barrett and secondly from Miss Patel, and also Avanish Gunjar for great work in science. Zach Moffat has been nominated by Miss Black for showing the Kingswood House Way values on a daily basis, for being honest and showing good empathy. Lucas Staples Sheesby for a very positive return to school, showing enthusiasm and willingness to participate in form time, says Miss Black. Luca as well played brilliantly at house rugby. No surprise there, I would imagine, given his dad. And also Dylan Bishop, well done to you from Mr. Hendry. 7P have all been commended by Miss Patel for their efforts with the squashed tomato challenge. And into Year 8 again, Darren Usa, well done for having fun. Which is very important, isn't it? And trying his best in house rugby. So even though, Darren, you may not have scored loads of tries, the fact is you really enjoyed yourself, gave of your best and invoked team ethic, and that is just as important. I agree with Mr. Lordy about that. Right, zooming back into Year 10, well done to Cameron Allenby, who's returned to school with real zest and maturity. We'd love to see this, Cameron. Keep it up. 10W, Mrs. Weston remains very pleased with all of you for showing great politeness and sensible behaviour, being really good role models. And Mrs. Hornstetter has said she's very pleased to see that all of the Year 10 boys are being polite and saying thank you to the catering team after every lunch. Well done. Mr. Bailey says well done to Year 11s for getting their work back in and being punctual with their organisation. And Michael Cleaver and Theo Byrne have been picked out by Mrs. Wraith for really lifting the spirits in form time. sharing good humour and helping her out as necessary. Miss Timothy, our Elsa, would like to say particularly well done to the following boys who've shown great resilience since returning to school: Frankie Wintle, Will Baker, Jay Schooling, George Dyson, Tommy Wood, Lucas Cressy, Zach Alabane, Alfie Lewis and Hugo Davis. And I don't want to go into all of the whys and wherefores about that, but those boys have really caught her eye and mine too. Well done, gentlemen. Keep up the excellent work. Now, as we look ahead to next week, we've got a very exciting senior lecture. Christopher Timothy, yes, the Christopher Timothy, relation of Katie Timothy, is giving our senior lecture online, and he will be talking about all of his experience across his long and distinguished TV and media career and top tips for our boys. So I am really looking forward to that, and I would urge all of you to join us for that wonderful edition, which is coming up next week. Do read about that in the newsletter. We are going to have staggered pickup next Friday. Again, the timings for this are in the newsletter. Please make sure that you are aware of the right time and place from which to collect your son at the end of term on Friday. It will be around lunchtime. Looking ahead to next term, we are putting ahead a really exciting programme of events where possible. We are penciling in some fixtures, which will obviously be confirmed nearer the time. We are planning to go ahead with Sports Day. We're planning to go ahead with Jollies. We're planning to go ahead with Speech Day. All of these will have to be fine-tuned at relatively short notice, and I'm still not sure exactly what involvement you as parents will be able to have in respect of those. But certainly for the boys and for the staff, it will be a busy term indeed. Plenty to look forward to. So as I said last week, and again in the newsletter today, there will be a lot of tired boys and indeed teachers this weekend. Please make sure that you get plenty of rest, keep to a good diet, get lots of fresh air, get lots of sleep. The next week is going to be a busy one, and we want everybody to be their best selves. And part of integrity that I talked to the boys about in assembly was about doing the right things when nobody is watching. And one observation I made out of my window, which I often do, I go upstairs and I look out, I have a great vantage point over the playground, was seeing a senior boy walk past one of our junior boys. And the junior boy was obviously struggling to do up his shoe. And the senior boy walked past, and I thought, oh, drat, he's just ignored that little boy, who's obviously getting increasingly distressed. But this particular senior boy, who shall remain unmentioned, paused, and I could almost see his brain whirring, and he turned around and he went back and he helped that child do up his shoe, gave him a pat on the back, and sent him on his way. And he had absolutely no idea that I was watching, but I've had a word with him. And it's exactly that kind of decision-making that I want our boys and girls in the future to make at Kingswood House. It's about making those right choices consistently, even the little ones, when no one is watching. You're not seeking a reward, you're doing it because it's the right thing to do. And that is exactly what integrity entails, and something that I have very much explained to the boys this week, and I would ask you as parents to reinforce that key message at home. Have a great weekend, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.